Good morning! It is day 9 of Demonic Pacts Reveals, and I correctly predicted it yesterday. Today we are seeing another Tier 2 Relic. I think this one is going to be making some of you very, very happy. We've got some recurring effects that have been very popular in leagues past. Today we have a relic called Hotfoot, and this thing has a ton of effects, so let's jump straight into reading what this relic does. Upon choosing this relic, you will receive the Searing Boots. While the Searing Boots are worn, you gain the following benefits. Agility experience is gained based on your agility level whenever you run. Caught fish are automatically cooked, and mined ore is automatically smelted. Additionally, regardless of your footwear, picking up some termites or a mark of grace from a course will automatically complete the lap, granting completion XP and 10,000 coins. Marks of grace will always have a 33% chance to spawn on all rooftop courses. Also, completing a course grants 2 completion count and 25% bonus experience. You will have 100% success rate on all actions for agility and cooking. You will receive twice the number of termites from the Colossal Worm agility course, and you will receive 10 times the number of crystal shards from the Prifdinous agility course. So yes, if you have been a fan of boots that grant agility experience whenever you run, you are getting that once again this league. It has been confirmed this morning that the agility experience that they grant is the same as the corner cutter boots from the Raging Echoes League. So if you're familiar with that, this is going to feel exactly the same. Ooh, okay. I think this is a pretty good relic. Also, I touched on this briefly when we spoke about the Woodsman relic a few days ago, that they might bundle up some odd skills together in this tier 2 category. Like we saw with Woodsman, you had sort of a fletching hunter fire making bundle together. And here we have an agility relic that bundles in some cooking and smithing buffs. So a really unique combo, and I think this is going to make a lot of people happy. I believe this is the first smithing and cooking buffs that we have seen on a relic. So if you've been a little bit worried about either of those skills, then this relic should put a smile on your face. And I know that agility is always one of those skills that people go into a league not excited to train. And I think without a doubt, this relic just completely solves the agility problem. Also, they don't directly explain this in the relic itself, but if you look at the announcement video that they posted on X this morning, it looks like when you pick up a mark of grace, your character just jumps off into the sky and lands at the beginning of the agility course. So when it says that picking up termites or a mark of grace will automatically complete the lap, it looks like that will physically complete the lap for you, not just grant completion XP and up the lap counter. Truthfully, I'm not sure how useful this increased lap speed completion is going to be from a training perspective. I feel like in leagues past, when people take this relic, most of your agility XP just comes from running around, and you don't really train the skill that much using agility courses themselves. But what it is going to do is pretty drastically speed up any tasks that are like complete X laps of this course. And this effect will happen pretty frequently because, as it says, marks of grace will have a 33% chance to spawn. So a 1 in 3 chance to spawn on all rooftop agility courses, which means 1/3 of the time you will be completing the lap early. Oh, and I almost forgot that it says here completing a course grants 2 completion count and 25% bonus experience. So yeah, not only will you be completing a lap early 1/3 of the time, but every time you quote unquote complete a course, it'll count as a 2 completion count. And this does work for agility tasks. So yeah, this just means that every complete this number of laps task is going to be completed twice as fast at minimum with this. And as we've seen in some agility relics in the past, you'll get 10,000 GP whenever you pick up a mark of grace and this effect triggers. And it looks like this works for termites as well, so that Colossal Worm agility course. 10k, not a huge amount of money when you're in the late game, but this could be a really good early game way to gain a bit of that sort of starter GP. I think that's usually how this benefit is viewed when it's been on relics in leagues past. So okay, really good relic for everything agility related. And then you also get these slight benefits from cooking and smithing. Caught fish are automatically cooked. That's great, especially considering that 2 of the tier 1 relics are like direct gathering buffs. So I think people are going to be doing a lot of gathering skills, and this is just going to directly benefit that. And then also the mined ore is automatically smelted. That also ties into both of the gathering tier 1 relics. And of course, this effect is easily toggled on or off by just equipping or unequipping the boots. So if you want or need raw fish or raw ore, just take your boots off and then your fish won't be cooked and your ore won't be smelted. 100% success rate on all actions for cooking is also super nice. This means that you'll just never burn food at all. So overall, I think this is a pretty dang good relic, especially because it is a tier 2 relic. This is one of those relics you're probably going to get within the first hour of your league, which means you'll get those boots super early on, which means you can put them on and start gaining some passive agility XP. Again, I think it's a great benefit for passive smithing and cooking XP whilst mining and fishing, and it's going to pair really well with either Endless Harvest or Barbarian Gathering, which we should talk about Barbarian Gathering for a second. I know one of the benefits people were very excited about for that relic was the fact that fishing, woodcutting, and mining XP also gave 10% XP in agility. So a lot of people were looking at Barbarian Gathering and wondering if that was going to be the relic that quote unquote solved agility. Was Barbarian Gathering the relic that you could take and then just not really have to worry about agility XP from like a maxing perspective? And so with Hotfoot being the thing in the game, I think Barbarian Gathering might get bumped down in terms of desirability for a couple of people. If you were looking at Barbarian Gathering and one of the things you were most excited about was the passive agility XP, you might then look at Hotfoot and go, oh, well, that's just a way better agility relic. Therefore, I don't care so much about Barbarian Gathering, and you might pick Endless Harvest or Abundance instead. Likewise, you could look at Barbarian Gathering and then pair that with the effects of Hotfoot that you'll automatically smelt ore and cook fish. I think the consensus is very much that Barbarian Gathering is the better skill for those higher level resources. You think your adamant ore, your runite ore, your sharks, your anglerfish. And so with the two of these paired together, you can just automatically smelt your runite ore as you mine it. You can automatically cook your sharks as you fish them. That is some really good synergy there. Or you might want to pair it with Endless Harvest. Obviously, you'll just endlessly be fishing spots and then cooking every single fish. So training fishing and cooking at pretty much the same rate for an endless amount of time just makes both of those skills completely AFK. And then the same can be said for mining and smithing. This is so much more powerful than the Echo Pickaxe from last league, which yes, did give you the ability to automatically smelt ore, but you could only mine, I think it was like 4 or 5 ores from a given rock before it depleted and you had to move away. But Endless Harvest allowing you to endlessly mine an ore, then paired with Hotfoot means you will also be endlessly smelting bars. And so again, the inverse of Barbarian Gathering, I think Endless Harvest really benefits from those quick to obtain resources. So probably like your iron ore, your fly fishing. Combine those with Hotfoot and you've probably got a pretty good XP per hour rate, not just for your fishing and mining abilities, but now also for your cooking and smithing. So yeah, definitely some great pairing potential there with Barbarian Gathering, Endless Harvest, Hotfoot. I think there's some great combinations there. And so now we have 2 relics shown in the tier 2 category. And so I think it's very fair to pull up the Woodsman relic again and start comparing the differences between this and Hotfoot. I do think a lot of people are going to look at Woodsman and think that it's not as good now just because of the skills that get solved by each relic. Hotfoot solving agility is going to be a big thing for a lot of people. And I think smithing as well is one of those skills that, depending on the region you pick, can be a little bit difficult and annoying to train and max. I know it has great solves if you take Desert with Giant's Foundry, and depending on our ability to get crystal shards this league, usually the Toronto region has a phenomenal solve for the smithing skill. If you want to know what I'm talking about, look up smithing crystal armor in leagues. It is bonkers how much XP per hour you can get in that skill. But yeah, comparing Hotfoot to Woodsman, Hotfoot solves agility and then gives passive cooking and smithing buffs, whereas Woodsman is more of a hunter skill that gives passive fletching and fire making benefits. Now, as some others have pointed out, Varlamore has the Veil Totems minigame, which is a very good fletching training activity. So do you necessarily need a skill that allows you to train fletching more effectively? I do think Woodsman is going to be a faster fletching 99, but how much so? And then you look at the fire making skill. Is this necessarily an annoying skill to train? Again, this is kind of region dependent. If you are taking the Korend region, which I know a lot of you are, you'll have access to Wintertot at level 50, and that's just a superior fire making training method. However, I'd say if you're not taking Korend and you do plan on maxing your league account, I can tell you this from personal experience because this was me last league. Fire making was the last skill that I got to 99, and it was a little bit annoying to train. Granted, that was before bonfires were modified to give full XP for putting logs in them. That is going to make the fire making skill a lot more AFK to train, which is not what I was doing in Raging Echoes. I was manually lighting those logs in a line, super old school style, just like we all used to do. Very nostalgic, and the nostalgia was not necessarily good. Can we just say that? I still think you need to look at Woodsman as primarily a hunter relic that gives just some passive quality of life to both fire making and fletching. Like, a lot of the benefits that Woodsman gives to the hunter skill are really, really good. I'm still personally kind of leaning towards Woodsman, but I will say I am also one of those really weird people that doesn't mind training agility. And I know I am in the vast minority here. So if you are one of the many people that doesn't like training agility and you want a good solve for it, you're probably looking at Hotfoot. And so I really think that that's what you'll need to do at this point. Just compare the skills that Woodsman and Hotfoot give buffs to and decide which of those are more important. The relic board is definitely starting to look a lot more filled out now, and so you're able to see maybe some more direct paths of relics that you might want to be taking. But I will say there is still one relic in the tier 2 category that we have not seen yet. So don't get too set on choosing either Hotfoot or Woodsman, because this third relic could be something that you really want. There are still a bunch of skills in the game that don't have a relic directly associated with them yet. We don't really have a relic that will give any increased prayer XP. There's a lot of talk about a relic that potentially buffs the runecraft skill, so maybe we'll see that in tier 2. Likewise, in leagues past, there has been a relic in the tier 2 category that buffs the thieving skill, one of those like auto pickpocketing relics. And so I think it's very likely that you could see that go up against Hotfoot and Woodsman. Time will tell. We will have to wait until that third tier 2 relic is revealed to us. And of course, the last thing we have to talk about today is the day's Echo Boss reveal. Today, they have announced that the Echo KBD from the Wilderness region will be making a return, but with a new Echo item. And I think this is going to disappoint some of you. It looks like the Thunder Kopesh from the King Black Dragon will not be making a return this league. It looks like the KBD now drops a crossbow. It says pack a punch with a double hit that counts as one, with ice barrage-like effects from a crossbow. Very, very, very intriguing. A ranged weapon that can freeze you? And look at this image here. It has 2 barrels on it. I think it looks like a cool weapon. Double hit that counts as 1 is interesting. What does that exactly mean? Is this like double accuracy? Does this mean you'll only get 1 hit splat? In how many situations does that really matter? I am curious. Any of you Theater of Blood enjoyers that don't want to acquire ancient magics to freeze the Nihilocus in the Maiden Room will probably look at this and go, that's interesting. But yeah, another Echo Boss checked off of the list. Not many more to go at this point. And I think that's all we have to discuss today. So I'm going to end the video here. If you enjoyed it, please consider clicking that like button. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with these daily updates. In the comments down below, please let me know what you think about today's reveal. Are you excited about the Hotfoot relic? I have a feeling that a lot of you are going to be. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if there's anything that you can think of theory crafting wise surrounding this relic that I missed. If you are considering this relic, are you also considering taking Endless Harvest or Barbarian Gathering? How do you think it's going to pair with the 2 of those relics? Let me know all of that stuff in the comment section down below. That's going to be all for me today, and I will see all of you with tomorrow's reveal. Ba 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 ba.